Hey, you wouldn't run your business like this, but you know what? There is a good possibility that you are. Check this out. Leadership blind spots are a huge problem in running our business. And you know what? We all have them, but we can fix this because we can eliminate a lot of these if we know what to look for. By the time we get finished with this message, I'm going to give you 5 or 6 of them that you really need to be mindful of that can really damage your business. And if this is your first time here, I am Joey and I am on a crusade to help you improve your small biz life. In fact, our motto is your success is our business. And that's right, coming to you from the kitchen, because the best conversations, sometimes the most intimate, deep conversations, life change happens in the kitchen. Hey, and don't forget, make sure you've got a pen and paper handy, because you're going to want to take notes and write this stuff down, because this can be gold for you and growing your business. You know the thing about blind spots, and this is the thing why you have to focus on these, is your blind spots can affect your entire team. So what I'm going to talk about here is the blind spots that I see most happening for small business owners these days. All right, the first blind spot I want to talk to you about, to make you aware of, is this. I call it the depression mentality. You know, both of my sets of grandparents were raised and lived during the Depression era. It was a bad time in America. If you were in the poor rural South, it affected you, but you were already poor. But I can remember Dad telling me stories about the food they had to eat and what happened as they were being raised. The generations, folks like my grandparents or my parents that came out of some of that Depression era, is it gave them a mentality of, I have to hold on to everything. I have to be the one and only of everything, and I cannot release anything to anybody else because somebody might take something away from me. And part of this depression mentality, leadership blind spot, is the fact that you become, as a leader, blind to the ability to hire anybody that you deem might be smarter than you, because you're afraid that they will take something away from you. Maybe they take your leadership sense away from you. Maybe you think that they're going to take your actual physical role away from you, your business away from you, if you hire somebody smarter and train them. It can be, if you're a team leader, sometimes maybe you have some team members in your small business that do some hiring. They might not be hiring the best people. For the most part, I don't even think that they realize that it's happening, that they're afraid to hire smarter, better, talented people onto the team, which is exactly what you want to do to grow your team. In fact, I just recently witnessed this very thing happen. A team leader that ran a division in a company was afraid to hire somebody because they saw in that person that they were interviewing that there was a lot more talent, a lot more intelligence, a lot more drive and willpower, and they were terrified for some reason they wouldn't be seen as having value to the company anymore, and that person would take the job away from them. Be very mindful of your blind spots in hiring smarter, more talented people, because in the end, that's exactly what you want to do. Treat them right, treat them fairly. You are still the leader. This is still your dream. It's still your passion. But don't hinder your business because of this leadership blind spot. The next leadership blind spot that I see, man, it's a huge one. I didn't rank these in order of importance, but this one that I'm going to tell you about here is really high, because I see it happen a lot, and boy, I just don't want you doing that. A leadership blind spot often is in when a leader's inability to resolve problems, whether they're internally in the business, which is most of the time where I see it happen, or even externally. They ignore the problems, and that is a huge problem. I actually have seen business leaders know that there's so many problems in their business that they are purposely ignoring it, because they know that, you know what, I'm going to have a bigger problem next week, so why do I even deal with this one? Talk about trying to put yourself out of business. That's a bad problem. You cannot let internal, maybe it's team member or departments, problems fester and not deal with these. You got to set your culture and your processes in your business where you're dealing with these all along. And I promise you, as much as you think you hate it, maybe you're one of these people who are wired that you're just not into dealing with conflict. That's a problem. Sometimes if you do your DISC profile, I think a lot of this leadership or leaders who have like a S and or a C type DISC profile, and it's just a non-confrontation mentality. But that is a problem in your business, and it's a blind spot from you when you let all of this bickering and problems, even external with the customer, go on. It is a detriment to the success of your business. So don't have ignoring the problem blind spot. All right, the next leadership blind spot that I see happen a lot, especially in maybe middle-aged or older small business owners, is that they're intimidated by technology. You cannot be intimidated by technology anymore. Our society lives and breathes and runs off of technology, for better or worse, but you cannot ignore technology. Just because you don't understand it doesn't mean that you don't need to implement it into your business. This is where you have to hire a consultant. Maybe you have to hire somebody, permanent full-time employee, to come on board to help you with technology. Gary Vee says, don't build your business because of your personal opinions of technology, because it's not a path to success for you. If technology is a blind spot on it and you realize that, don't act like you've got it under control and that nobody else knows it. Believe me, everybody else realizes it too. Don't let that hinder your business. Take control, even if you have to admit that you're kind of ignorant to some of the technology that's out there, whether it's chat bots, whether it's clienteling software, whether it's a CRM software, even if it's simple spreadsheets and stuff like that. Don't feel bad. That's just not who you are. You as the leader can fix it by putting people or consultants in place to handle that stuff for you. Don't let this blind spot keep you from seeing great success in your business. And I get it that technology can be tough. Here's what I remember. In 95, 96, when the internet really first became super popular, everybody was putting a second phone line in their house. Everybody was buying 56K modems to connect to the internet. And if somebody knew like this much, I mean just a slither about computers, they were seen as just the most smartest, most genius people in the world. I can remember you could get a basic Microsoft certification in technology and people would hire you 100 plus, six-figure salaries for knowing this much about computers. And today what I see is people are so afraid of, with brick and mortar small businesses, about online businesses or social media branding and marketing. Guys, don't let these blind spots in this technology hose you up. And then the next thing that happens is you're closing the business down because your competition down the street, even if they didn't understand it, they figured out how they were going to implement it into their business, and they are still succeeding. Don't be the person that goes out of business because of this particular blind spot. Okay, this next blind spot, I see this happen quite a bit, and it's a challenge. It's really a challenge for your team. So I want to talk to you about this blind spot, and that's this. If you think that you're the smartest person in the room, then you have a blind spot. Don't be the smartest person in the room. You know, even if you are, be humble enough to help and coach other people up, because it's still a blind spot from you. Look, don't you want everybody, if you're doing 100% and you've got people that are producing at 50 or 60 or 70 or even 80%, don't you want them 100% like yourself? Don't have a blind spot that you're the smartest person and these people just don't ever get it. Help them get it. Help them be 100% just like you. God, what a win for your business and at the growth that you'll have by doing that. Don't be the smartest person in the room. Here's another piece of this particular blind spot I want to talk to you about is that if you think you're the expert, if you think you have all the information and all the knowledge and you're not coachable, then you've got a blind spot here too that you really need to fix. Look, everybody needs personal growth. Everybody needs to grow no matter where you're at in your expertise. There's always room for growth and improvement in some area of your leadership, in some area where you lead and influence other people. So don't have this blind spot because it's hindering your success. And even if you're seeing success, I promise you, you could be more successful if you eliminate this blind spot. Here's another challenge that I see I want to talk to you about that's possibly a blind spot is in a lack of customer acquisition skills. When we started small business, it's because we had a dream, we had a vision, and we really were confident that we could do this better than anybody else, that we really had what it takes to be successful. There's a lot more to it that we've got to work on, and that is we got to have customers to provide our dream, our services, and our products to. So sometimes we don't have that customer acquisition skills, even though we think that the dream and the vision in our blind spot can get us there. It's just not going to do it. Once you get out of your warm market, your family, your friends, your previous co-workers, then what happens? So you have to work on customer acquisition, and even if you aren't skilled at that, this goes back again, you're going to have to hire a team member or a consultant, somebody to partner with your business, and that's their skill, that's their trade, that's what they're good at, is bringing customers in. Don't let the "I'm good at this" blind you and think that this is automatically going to happen, because sometimes the two don't come together. Don't let this be a blind spot in helping you have success in your business. And the next blind spot I want to talk to you about is this one, is, and this is true for all of us, is that you don't know what you don't know, yet we remain in our comfort zone, just cruising along. Blind spot that we all suffer from, that we have to get out of that. That's where we have to work on personal growth to get out of that blind spot. Now, the blind spot of you don't know what you don't know is where you're going to have to probably go find a mentor. Better yet, find a business coach that can help you get through this particular blind spot. And it's a big one. And the blind spot of you don't know what you don't know is often the place that causes us to lose our business. This is a huge one, and you really need to focus on this one. And the only way that you're going to remove this blind spot is from help from others. You've got to get somebody in that you can talk to about your business, that you can talk to about your challenges, that can help you grow and expand this blind spot. That you don't know what you don't know, if you look at a pie chart, is always our biggest piece of the pie. We know what we know, and we know what we don't know, but where we don't know what we don't know is always the place that usually trips us up and causes us the most problems. So don't let this piece be the blind spot that gets you. Hey, before I get to my last thought that I really want to share with you, that I think is going to be really thought-provoking for you. If there's anybody that you thought of that maybe could use this, a friend, a colleague, a business person that you're friends with that could use these tips, I would really appreciate it if you take a little time and share this message with them. Thank you. Additionally, what blind spots did I miss? What is something maybe you've had a blind spot in your career, in your past, that maybe you had some failure with? And there's nothing wrong with failure as long as you learn from it and you grow out of it. And that you also don't let be an anchor to hold you up from progress because you can't get past it. So what is some blind spot that I didn't think of that's really something that we should have a conversation about? I would love it if you leave a comment about that, or have a conversation with me on Twitter. My Twitter handle is @JoeyPeacock. Reach out to me there and let's have a conversation about blind spots. And the thing I wanted to leave you with that I really, really want you to ponder on, and I think that, when I first heard this question, it really had me thinking about it for days to come, and it's been a long time since I've heard this, and I still hold on to this thought. And so here's the question I want to ask you. If something was to happen to you and somebody else was to come in and run your business, what would they do differently? What would they change? What would they add? What would they tweak? What is something that they would immediately implement? This is some of the things that really drives me. In my very early career, another guy who was kind of training me and stuff, he told me this. He says, don't let anybody ever come behind you to nitpick something that you've done. And that is something that has stayed with me for decades, that has kept me on my toes, that makes me think through everything. Not where it's a roadblock for me, but it's a sense of motivation that drives me to excellence. Because look, all I ever want to do is provide excellence and give great service to everybody that I help. And I don't want to give bad information or bad thoughts or bad tips if I can help it. In your business, think about if somebody else took over, what changes they would make. And as you think through that process, think about why do I have to wait for somebody else to come along? I can do these changes. I can carry us to the next level. I can carry us higher. I can help bring in more customers into the business. You can do this. I know you can. And just because maybe it's not a skill you have, remember, hire team members. Bring in a consultant, somebody that can partner with you, that can help you grow and build your business. Don't think you have to do it on your own, because you don't have to. You got this, and I know you do. But think this through and work through that process over the next week and write this stuff down, see what you come up with. And speaking of not having to do it by yourself, look, that's what we're here for. If you need help, if you want to talk about your business, about maybe ways you can grow your business, if you need outside consultant pieces added to your business, look, reach out to us. Check out the link that I'm going to include. Go to the bottom of our website, click on the Contact Us. It carries you to a little short survey, only 10 really short questions, gives us some information in how to contact you. And we'll reach out and we'll help you grow and improve your small biz life. You know, I wanted to leave you with a quote that I read that is just so true. And it goes like this: it's important for a leader to hear about his blind spots on a regular basis, so working on them is periodically top of mind. A guy named Scott Weiss said that, and I'm going to tell you, it is so true. And it's the reason I wanted to share this message with you, because I don't want you to fail at your efforts, at all the work and the vision and the dream that you have and all the effort that you put in, because of some silly blind spots. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. I always appreciate you taking the time to carve time out of your valuable time to spend with me. It means so much to me, and I really strive to give you great value. Remember this: think creatively, work hard to remove the friction for both your employees and your customers, and spend every day working to become uniquely better, and you will succeed and improve your small biz life. That's what I'm going to be doing. Until next time, you take care, and I'm out of here.